Well, there's always a lot of chatter around how the HBL PSL unearths incredible talent with the ball, but spare a thought for the incredible batters that we've seen coming to the forefront of this particular edition of the tournament. And Mark Butcher alongside me, a certain Siam Ayub, of course, from Peshawar Zalmi, 20 years old, 550-plus scores. A lot to like about him, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he's left-handed as well, which always pleased me. I mean, the wonderful thing about him is that he strikes at around just under 170 over the course of this year. 300 runs, been very consistent, as you say. And everything about him is built around very fundamental, basic batting technique. The first scoring shot that I saw him play was the most gorgeous drive through extra cover off Islamabad, who was bowling absolute rockets. Now, one of the great things about watching this shot of his was that he was able to stand absolutely stock still, get his head over the front of off stump and just lean into this extra cover drive that went like an exocet straight through the gap there. Absolutely beautiful. You know, then of course you end up with the batsman trying to come a little bit straighter because he's so wonderfully good. Here, you hold this. He's so wonderfully good outside the off stump. They come a little bit straighter at him. And again, one of the perfect things about the way he sets himself up is that the head is always stock over off stump. The ball comes in a little bit straighter. He doesn't overbalance. The ball comes in and he just pings it away over mid-wicket. All of this is based around great fundamentals, but he's doing it at this extraordinary strike rate. We get into slightly funkier territory here. The bowlers are thinking to themselves, well, we can't get a little too full at him. We can't get outside off stump. And bowling straight, he's pinging us away. So they try and go at him a little bit with the bumper. So the bumper comes in. What does he do? There's always two men back on the leg side, so he stays offside of it and just ramps it up over third man. All of this stuff is meaning that the bowlers are having to think constantly about how to stop this guy from scoring, getting off strike, and more importantly, make boundaries.
Bit of a lack of preservation as well, isn't there? As we take a look at the shot, exactly the one that you just mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a wonderful example of how if you have the correct balance and a great head position, once again, just over the top of off stump, that you can pretty much maneuver the ball anywhere you like. One of the great strengths of his is that he stays very, very still. There's no moving around the crease in terms of his head position. Yes, his body might switch around, and yes, his hands are very fast, but the head is still, the eyes are level, and that's all very fundamental in terms of batting.
Go on, give us an example. I'm just going to stand away for 1 second.
Probably not good for me to do it. The best example for me is watching him when he gets really funky, right? Yeah. So if you're starting to look for the the unorthodox shots that are making him keep that strike rate up. Now, even when he is diving outside the line of off stump and trying to look to play these scoop shots, he's also stock still headwise. He watches the ball absolutely into the middle of the blade, and then because he strikes it so beautifully, he doesn't even have to look to see where the ball's gone. It disappears out of the park. And we'll be able to see that here. So again, you watch the ball comes down, the head stays stock level, the eyes are level, and he is able to just watch that ball straight onto the blade. He knows that it comes off the middle of the bat. He doesn't even have to look and see where it's gone.
Yeah, it's just gorgeous to watch, isn't it? And he's only 20 years old as well. It was an outrageous shot, this final shot that we're having a look at there. But, you know, is it something about the fact that he is so young, he's got nothing to lose? You talked about the lack of self-preservation when it comes to 150 clicks coming at your head from Harris Ralph. But what is it that makes him so successful when he is so young? How do you get the goal to do it?
Well, exactly. I mean, so it's based around fundamentals, of course, but also then you have to have the imagination, I suppose, to be able to do something outrageous when the ball doesn't end up exactly where you want it. So the reason he's able to do this, again, I keep going back to it, but it's exactly the same. Because the eyes are level and the head is so still, the ball doesn't end up exactly where he wants it. He's looking for it outside the line of off stump. It ends up coming in a little bit more towards middle and leg, and therefore all he has to do really is shift the hands, keep the weight down, keep looking at that ball, and he scoops it over the top for six again. He's a magnificent player, but there is nothing really funky about it. It's just basic batting with the intention to go out there and score quickly. The intention that is built around playing T20 cricket from the time you were born. It almost seems as though he's been doing it for that long. But he is a wonderful player. He's been rewarded now by being picked for Pakistan. And long may it continue that we see more and more batters from HBL PSL find their way into the national team.
Absolutely. He's earned himself a position at the top of the order for Peshawar Zalmi because he's been so good. As you mentioned, of course, because of his performance in this season of the tournament, he's now found himself into the Afghanistan squad for Pakistan. Very exciting times ahead for Siam Ayub, and we cannot wait to see him in action later on tonight.